What is up, Jay Spence?
What's up with you, man?
Hey, I'm just going to toot my own horn. I think that is probably the best highlights video I've ever put together.
I think it was the easiest highlight video you put together.
36 seconds of field goal tries. It's I even had a clip in there of Jerry Hughes holding the ball up the hole, when I sent you the thing from the replacements, the Danny Bateman, I got it, and I couldn't fit it in because it was all field goals. All field goals.
That's hilarious, man.
Well, welcome everybody into the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Fanatics Multicast Network, and we are simultaneously being retweeted, at least, over to the Buffalo Rumblings Network, as this is a cross-platform production between Fanatics and Rumblings. I am one of your hosts, Joe Miller, and that over there is my co-host, Jay Spence the King. What's good, Jay Spence?
What's going on?
Feeling better about that Jets win?
No, I just moved on.
You just moved.
Yeah, I'm not feeling better at all, at all.
Gotcha. Well, this is what we're going to do. I'm feeling pretty good about the Jets win. I'm feeling all right about the fact that the Patriots are coming to town. I wish we could be there as far as to be there with the team in person and kind of give them the help that Bills Mafia, the 12th man, the original NFL 12th man, gives them. But unfortunately, due to laws, we cannot be there. However, this is what we're going to do. So we're going to put to bed the Jets game. And so we're going to talk about it for a couple minutes. And then we're going to move on to the Patriots game. And we're going to preview that a little bit. We're going to ask you guys some questions. As always, you guys can ask us questions. And we've got all the people that are good up in here. So Richard Rush is in here. Tim Stuck is in here. Daniel's in here. Ryan Thiel's in here. Everybody should know. Brian Bowers is coming out on me on Twitter. He's like, y'all better talk about me because I've been right about stuff. And he's right.
I saw him say that.
He's right. F the Jets, which, yep, perfect man to be in the room. So everybody's here. So as always, there's been one slight change. The distribution of labor amongst this show has changed, because it used to be that I would set the show up. I do all the production stuff. I'd put all the pictures in there and stuff like that, do the video. And then Spence would run the comments. Well, because Spence is no longer on Fanatics, I now have to run the comments too. So this is what I'm going to say. Last week, I missed a super chat. It was a $1.99 super chat, and I had a hard time falling asleep because I robbed somebody their $2 super chat. If I miss one of your super chats, please do the best you can to get my attention. We do want to have conversation with you guys. We want to talk to you. We want you to be a part of the show. It's important to us. And if you want to get our attention, super chat us. We're going to do the best we can to get to it. However, before we do that, we have to pay some of the bills. And the bills we're going to pay tonight is this bill, and it's the same bill that we always pay. We are partnered with, and Manscaped has joined the Fanatics network, and they basically sponsor us for some stuff that we do on YouTube. I know that they're sponsoring us for our blog stuff. They're also sponsoring, I think, some of our podcasts. But here's the thing: we talk about it every week, and generally Jay Spence talks about it. But I'm going to do him the favor tonight and talk about it. Gentlemen, you need to take care of yourselves. And this is step number one in taking care of yourselves. And it comes down to what your lady likes. Now, I'm not going to lie, or I'm not going to be naive and feel like there aren't some women folk out there that don't like the naturist look. But generally speaking, the ladies don't like their man all hairy. So if you've got problem with hair everywhere, like I tend to, this is a great product for you. What we want to do is we want to give you 20% off and free shipping if you go to manscaped.com and put whatever you want to put in your cart. And this package that you're looking at right now is literally $100. So you're going to get it for $80, and it's going to be shipped to you for free. However, I am now on I don't know if you've done this yet, Jay Spence. I am now on the replenish plan for the boxers. So every 2 months I get 3 new pairs of boxers, because the boxers are legit, right? I mean, the products
are the best thing,
right? Like the razor's amazing. The all the oils and stuff like that are amazing. But at the end of the day, the boxers are it was over the top. It's yes, please. So I'm on
those boxers on, and I'm like, dude, why aren't you guys just you need to be in Walmart with these things,
just selling boxers. So
just sell boxers.
That's right. And we have sold a ton of Manscaped stuff. So make sure if you go to Manscaped, put Fanatics in there. If you're already a customer of Manscaped and you've got an account with them, start putting Fanatics in there. Get your 20% off. So, and you better believe that on the replenishment plan for the boxers every 2 months, I absolutely put the Fanatics code in there. and got it at 20% off. So Jay Spence is in the house. I see you with the LFG and a bunch of exclamation points. Who else is up in here tonight? Seems like Taj is in here. Taj is my man from Facebook. I think he's a moderator on one of the Facebook groups, and you'll forgive me, Taj. I don't know which one because there's so many of them, and I'm like connected to several of them. But it's good to have you guys. It's good to have you guys
Ryan in here.
Yeah, it's good to have you guys in the chat tonight. We want to know. I want to know how everybody's feeling. Spence has had a real hard time, and I'm not going to lie. I didn't have the best time. I mean, it was. What's the word? It wasn't a convincing win necessarily over the Jets. And when you think about like the score and the fact that I think what I said on your show on the chop up afterwards with Mookie, and I put it on my show as well, is it took us till like 1:37 left in the third quarter to like erode. And the only word I could come up with was erode a 10-point lead by the Jets, which is a little bit pathetic if you think about it. Now, Josh didn't play as bad. So I don't know if did you see Good Morning Football today? Do you watch Good Morning Football every day?
I normally do. This morning and yesterday, I didn't get a chance to.
They're back in studio. That's sidebar. I watch it all the time, but today, and I kind of threw it out there on Twitter. You saw it, but today they were like, "Yeah, Josh Allen struggled more against the Jets than he did against the Titans," and I was like, no, like Josh Allen against the Titans was like 2019 Josh Allen. Josh Allen against the Jets was like 2020 Josh Allen with a whole bunch of bad penalties and like just stupid stuff going on where they just couldn't put the ball in the end zone. So how is everybody feeling? How are you feeling about Josh Allen's performance on Sunday against the Jets?
I feel good about it. I think that Josh played well. I agree that, obviously we didn't get the ball in the end zone, which is the whole goal. That's the point. Mm-hmm. But between the 20s, we moved the ball like it was actually. So Andrew's saying the same thing. Offense moved the ball from 20 to 20. We shot ourselves in the foot when we got down there. The thing is, I don't feel like we necessarily shot ourselves in the foot. What I think happened was we missed John Brown more than we would like to admit. Yeah. So when you get down into the red zone, when you have John Brown, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley with our running backs and whatever tight end you want to put out there, it's very difficult for them to double team Stephon Diggs, or it's difficult for them to double, anybody. Yeah. We missed him, and it was very clear that we missed him. So I think that kind of played into it. But I don't feel bad about the offense. I was more ticked off with the defense and overall just I just feel like we should have dominated.
Yeah, and I would agree. And Kyle, he just has a comment about the Patriots. Stick around, Kyle. We're going to talk about the Patriots in the second half of the show, so don't go anywhere. That's a perfect segue, and I didn't know necessarily how I wanted to get to it, but this is what I've been thinking about today and yesterday as it pertains to John Brown and him, quote unquote, being missed from this offense, because he is. And the things that we hear are, and I tend to believe it because I feel like I can see it, in the sense of like what this offense looks like with John Brown, what it looks like without John Brown. Clearly defenses are playing Josh Allen a little bit different. My laptop just died. I have no idea why. Clearly defenses are, I'm getting the blue screen of death here. Clearly defenses are playing Josh Allen different. They started out with man and with John Brown in the game, and it was just leaving a lot of wide open lanes for Josh Allen. So they switched to zone coverage, which has been proven to be somewhat of a battle for Josh Allen. Here's my question. All that to say this: we miss Josh Allen, or we miss John Brown, and the reason is, and they said this on Good Morning Football today too. The reason is because we're missing the person that can take the top off the defense. This is what I don't understand. Why don't they move Isaiah McKenzie into that spot and just have him run go routes?
That's a fair question. I don't agree with what they said on Good Morning Football, because I feel like obviously Stephon Diggs can take the top off of any defense,
for sure. But the way that they're using Stephon, the idea is that John Brown runs go routes, right? So his corner goes with him, the safety shades to his side, and it opens up everything else for Diggs, Beasley, whether it's Croft or Dawson Knox or whatever. I just don't understand for the life of me, why does that have to be only John Brown? And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that John is more of an accomplished route runner than Isaiah McKenzie is. I just don't understand I don't remember what the snap counts were, but why aren't they just lining up McKenzie out there and saying, you know what, dude, just run go routes?
The thing for me is, and I'm a huge McKenzie supporter. So
yes, you are. That's why I wanted to talk to you about it. That's why I want to talk to you about it. Yep.
I just don't feel that McKenzie's role is to actually be a wide receiver, which sounds bad because that's his position. He's a wide receiver, but I honestly don't think that the team views him as a weapon on the offensive side of the ball, unless it's like those jet sweeps or little gadget plays that we have here and there. But as an actual receiver, when you're going up against a cornerback or, a slot corner or whatever,
Yeah.
I just don't think that they view him that way, which is weird. I agree with you. Like, and we kept him. He has a roster spot, so you would think that he would, you would just think that he would perform in that role. But I don't know. That's a good question, honestly.
I mean, for all intent, ask him. For all intent, that's a great. I know. So to that point, Isaiah will probably be on your show again. Did you rebook him already, or on the code of conduct?
Yeah, he'll be on after the bye week.
Yeah, so after the bye week, he's going to be on. So write that one down, because even if they don't view him as a wide receiver, I mean, at the end of the day, there's no reason he can't. I mean, they're going to have to pay attention to him. The safety is going to slide his way, and if he doesn't, Josh can throw it in that direction. You're telling me that Isaiah McKenzie can't catch a deep ball like with one-on-one? I don't know, man. It's just a weird situation for me. Yes, this is true. Truth of hearts. I totally agree. John Brown doesn't just run go routes. He runs the same routes as Diggs. I'm aware, but there's an aspect of like, it's just what we continue to hear. Take the top off the defense. We don't have that guy that can take the top off the defense. We don't have that guy that can take the top off the defense. I've even heard the Bills say it. And at the end of the day, Stephon Diggs can, obviously, but Isaiah McKenzie, I think, is faster than John Brown. Is he not? Isn't Isaiah McKenzie the fastest receiver on the team? Is he not?
I would put John Brown there, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, Truth Hearts with another one. John Brown and Diggs attack the intermediate areas. It's true. I'm just asking the question. It just seems like when you hear that, like, smoke.
It's a valid question though. When you think about it, it's like you would think, okay, one of our receivers go down, we put another receiver in his place, and they just kind of takes the snaps. It just doesn't look like that. Even if Gabriel Davis, as far as like the go routes, I don't think he has the quickness, but I did see him in the offseason, like during the summertime, there were plays where he was beating like Trey, and there were plays that he was beating other guys that you would be shocked that he beat. I know that we trusted him, like Josh threw the 50-50 ball up to him, but why don't we put Gabriel Davis in those, and put him in the situations that we put John Brown in and see how that works? I don't know.
And I agree. And Brian Bowers brings up a good point. John Brown runs the entire route tree, which is why when he's out of the lineup, they put a lot of attention into Diggs, which is true. Gabe Davis is not there yet. So I agree. For me, it's like, well, what happens? Because he's got 1 more year in his contract. What happens when his contract's up? Like, is it like, oh, great, now we can't play offense because John Brown's not here? I mean, I know that's not. I know it's a little extreme, but you know what I'm saying. So, Taj says, "Sweep guy like a human broom," in regards to Isaiah McKenzie, which is good.
Yeah, somebody said earlier in the comments that we beat the Giants, we beat the Rams without John Brown, and we still had a really productive offensive outing. Yeah. The difference that I would say to that, and I kind of debated it yesterday because I didn't agree at first, but then when I watched the game again today, there's film on the Bills for this season now. We're 7 weeks in. Going into the Jets game, we had 6 weeks of film that now Greg Williams could sit there and pick it apart and say, this is what we're going to do against Josh Allen.
Absolutely.
When you're going against the Rams, the second or third week of the season, whenever we play, second week, I believe, right? You're going against the Rams.
It was week 3.
Week 3. Nobody expected Josh Allen to consistently be this quarterback. So they were still like really shocked, just like we were with a lot of things that we saw. But, the thing is, it's also, as much as we dislike this guy and as much as we know that he's dirty and he makes all types of, he just sets his team up in positions to get in trouble a lot. Greg Williams is a heck of a defensive coordinator. Like the guy knows what he's doing. He knows what, he just knows what he's doing. So when you get down into that red zone area,
and the Jets can play defense.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. So they tend to stop you.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. And Tim, I want to address this real quick. JA needs to stop. Josh needs to stop forcing balls to Diggs as well. I love Diggs, but he when he's double covered, look for someone else. There was a comment that came up in my overreactions tweet session, as far as like the fans that kind of texted me just how they felt about the game. I didn't feel like Josh Allen forced the ball to Diggs at all in the first half. There was a point where, like, I think the very first ball he threw to him was late in the second. I was like, wait a minute, like Josh actually isn't forcing the ball to Diggs this game, which was good. There was one ball that he threw in the triple coverage. So there's times when he does do it, and he did it obviously in the Titans game a lot, and he did it in the Chiefs game as well. But yeah, so we got our first super chat. What's up, Chevy 2K? Well, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being a part of the show. Not just smoke, being out, but it's how we're getting played. Yeah, we talked about the difference between zone and man, that they're playing zone. And that brings up another question about the Patriots, but I don't want to move to the Patriots yet, which is, who's Gilmore going to cover, right? Uh-oh, we got a puppy in the room.
Yeah, he's being extra.
He's being extra. Who's Gilmore going to cover? And are they going to play? Are they going to keep him on the side? Are they going to play zone? Like, what are they going to do as far as that goes? Here's the thing. So you were watching the Hump Day Hotline. There's a whole bunch of you guys up in here. Like we always say on the Hump Day Hotline, whatever platform you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, or YouTube, hump that like, jump on that like. Let's get some of our metrics up. We love having you guys be a part of the show. Do me a favor, do us a favor, if you will. Retweet this thing, share it on Facebook. If you've got Bills Mafia friends that are out there like watching reruns of Storage Wars or something like that on TV, like say, hey, jump in on the show, like have a conversation with us. We're talking Bills football with Jay Spence and Joe Miller Wired. So as Rico says, first of all, Manscaped first, then hump that like. So that was dirty. I should have said
Manscaped first.
I should have said that.
It's dirty to not Manscaped. I feel bad.
Tim Stuck. That dog needs to be Manscaped.
No. We're not gonna Manscape my dog. He's a Pomsky. He's supposed to have hair.
That's so funny. So do we want to talk about Tyler Bass?
I don't, but we can. It's almost like we should, but yeah, we can.
So, feelings, thoughts. Was there any point in the game where you felt like when he lined up, oh, he's got this one?
No, every single time I was worried.
What's funny to me is he missed the 48-yarder, right? And then he made the 52-yarder, and then he lined up again. I think the next one was like a
37 or 30. No, it was like a 30-something yarder that he missed too. And it's like,
I was like, like every time it was under 50, I was like, and then I find myself sitting on the couch going through my head, wouldn't it be easier to hit a 37-yarder? Like if you can find the middle of the uprights with a 52-yarder or a 56-yarder, it seems like it'd be so much easier. Like, and it is, right? Because you're closer.
Well, the thing that's concerning to me about it is, so if I'm not mistaken, the extra point now is what, 30 yards or 35 yards?
28, I thought.
28. So you're 7 yards further than a extra point, and you missed that. Like, so, and I said this, I think, where was that? I was on a Cold Front report, and I said this, and I'm like, look, last year, I'm like, House Money got to go. He's got to go. He's missing, the team didn't trust him in the playoffs. Now, it's like, oh, we got a guy that can make a 56-yarder, but he can't make a 37-yard field goal. And it's frustrating to have these same issues every year, but reverse. Like, first we can't make them consistently close. Now we can't make them. It's just annoying, man. It's
for sure. So this is coming up a lot in the comments. We're not to the Patriots yet. We will talk about the injury report here shortly. That came out for today. John Brown was a full participant today, I believe. I'm gonna throw it up there real quick just because I can. We'll come back to that. John Brown, full participant today. So John Brown was a full participant today in practice. So more than likely, I would say that bodes well for John Brown, provided he does not have a setback. He will be playing against the Patriots, along with some other stuff. And there was some surprises on there too today, which one of them being Micah Hyde. So, but we'll get to that in a minute. What was the biggest hiccup? I mean, or hang up? Do you think the penalties were the biggest problem that we had, shooting ourselves in the foot with the penalties to get it like end zone? I mean, obviously the Gabe Davis 50-50 ball. He didn't catch, which is fine. And then that led to the first field goal attempt that was missed. The Gabe Davis touchdown, which was a beautiful pass from Josh Allen. And then that whatever that, and I've seen conflicting reports from people that I trust. I've seen people that I trust say that it was not an illegal formation. I've seen people that I trust say it absolutely was. And what I mean by that is like, whether it's the cover one guy saying, it was not, or I got Joe Marino telling me that like, no, it was. So it's like, I don't know where to fall with that whole like illegal formation. And then obviously Tyler Kroft, if he doesn't get tackled by the turf monster, he's still running. Like the dude is still running. Him and Daniel Jones are like running next to each other, like to this moment. So what was the biggest, I don't know what the word is. What was the biggest problem we had trying to like punching it in the end zone?
Honestly, I don't think that it was anything that we did. I feel like, honest to God, the Jets defense is better than we want to give them credit for. We think they suck across the board. Those guys are pretty good. And when you get down to the red zone, they're good. So I think that our offense moved the ball.
Yeah.
If you, like you said, that one call that was called back, whether the call was right or not, okay, that was a touchdown. So if that play is made, we're having a different conversation if the Bills score a touchdown and kick the rest of the field goals. If the Gabe Davis 50-50 ball is caught, we're having a different conversation. There were a couple plays there where, like, what was it? Tyler Croft, like you mentioned him, like he did the same thing that Daniel Jones did last week. So if 3 plays right there, just 3 that we could talk about, if those plays were completed, the game was completely different. So I don't think that the team necessarily did horribly. I just think when you play against good teams, you have to convert those opportunities. You can't. So against the Jets, it's fine that Tyler Croft falls down and we didn't convert. Against the Jets, it's fine that the play gets called back. It's fine to win 18-10. I was pissed off. Like during the game, I was pissed off. And I'm normally, like, when you text or we talk or whatever, I'm normally the one that's like, oh, it's all right, Joe. I knew we were going to win, so I wasn't scared about the game. I was just pissed off, like, especially the first half, especially.
Yeah. So this is interesting. So they did activate Levi Wallace off of IR today. Dane Jackson played well, and then they put him right back in the practice squad. What's interesting about Levi Wallace, and we're going to talk about obviously the Patriots in a bit. What's interesting to me about Levi Wallace is the fact that, like, where are we at as a fan base with these cornerbacks when it's like we're excited that Levi Wallace is coming back? Think about that for a second. It's like, oh my God, Levi Wallace is coming back. It's like, wait a minute. 4 weeks ago, we were like, oh my God, Levi Wallace is playing. Like,
I'm not excited about that at all. I want Jackson to. I would like to see Jackson in more of a consistent role. I want to see if the team actually will. I think he could beat Levi for a spot. I do. Yeah. I know he was a 7th round pick. I think he looked better than where he was drafted.
He looked really good. So there people in the chat are asking about a nickname for Tyler Bass, and this is, I just got to put it up because it's funny. So Wacky Bruce is in the house, and Bruce says that it was indeed an illegal formation penalty. So appreciate that, Bruce.
Well, Bruce, when we get off of this, if you can DM me like the screenshot of the actual, and I'm not saying this to challenge you, more so for knowledge. So if you can take a screenshot of that actual, the way they were lined up and show me where it was, I'd appreciate that, sir.
Jacob Foss asks, do you guys feel like Buffalo should make an attempt at a tight end like Njoku or Ingram at the deadline? I love Ingram, but you can answer this question.
I don't. I think that Tyler Croft has earned the tight end position, like that starting role.
It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart to say that because we all love Dawson Knox, but that hurts my heart. But I agree.
Well, no, so it doesn't hurt me to say it at all, because when we signed him for the money that we signed him for, I wanted him to be the starter. So when you have Dawson, as much as I love him, he's on a rookie deal. He's not making the same type of money. So look, if we're going to pay this guy the money we're paying him, I need him to be the number 1 receiver, and I need him to show it. So I think we're good. I agree with Bobby here. Yeah.
Bobby's in the house. Yeah, and I think that's where we're all at. Like, why did he go back down to the practice squad? I don't have that answer. Andrew Miller says Purcell, Dane, and a handful of other players can only come up one more time, and then they have to clear waivers. What was the most surprising thing about that Jets game other than the no punt part? Was there anything that stuck out to you in particular? And we could probably move on early. There isn't much in that Jets game to like really kind of rehash, right? I mean, it's just kind of like, I'm over it. Like, let's just get over it and then move on to what's next, which is obviously, in order to be the man, you got to beat the man. So was there anything that stuck out to you in that football game against the Jets?
Frank Gore.
That's not where I wanted to go with this.
I know, but that's what stuck out to me. And I know everybody, because I even saw the comments before I put it full screen, so now I can't really see the comments. But but I know people are happy because, like, the second half we dominated on defense, and first of all, we were supposed to dominate on defense. The fact that we didn't dominate in the first half, and the fact that Frank Gore, I've been saying this every day this week, every freaking day. The fact that Frank Gore averaged 5.5 yards a carry on the Buffalo Bills in 2020. The guy is only 185 years old.
I laughed because, like, on my show I said 71 years old. I think I said on Saturday I called him 67. On Sunday I called him 71. Then you called him 97 yesterday, and I literally laughed out loud when you said he's 97 years old, like, because he just keeps getting older.
Dude, I just don't get how he found the fountain of youth against the. And I get it. We're his old team, so he probably woke up special for it. You got some extra energy when you play your old team, but still, like, come on.
Yeah. So Clifford, here's what's up. I think that's 4.8. It's either, I looked it up today. It's either check spot track.
I believe it's 4.8.
Yeah, the Bills either have 4.6 or 4.8. Kyle, what's up? We got a new member up in the house, a new member of Buffalo Fanatics. So thank you for joining. If I had a bell, I would ring it for you. But Rico is in the chat, so I'm sure he's home wherever he is, and he's got his bell right next to him. So he is ringing that bell in spirit. Ryan's got a super chat. Ryan, thanks. Welcome to the show, or welcome in. Hump those likes, he says. So thanks for the super chat. And yes, jump on that like button. There's a whole bunch of people up in here. Let's get some more. Let's pack the house, yo. Let's double this number. So wherever you're at, whatever you're watching on, whatever platform, share it. Invite your friends. Like I said, let's get some conversation going up in here.
I know this isn't part of the conversation. So Fanatics on their Instagram, on the Instagram account earlier, posted a picture of Josh Allen in like a throwback, the early '90s jerseys, and the helmet.
Yeah.
Can I just say, like, man, you can say, if there's anybody from the Buffalo Bills organization listening to this, and if you like the fan base, if you love us at all, please listen to the fan base and bring those damn throwback jerseys back, please, with the red helmets. And can we get the red end zones again too? Like, can we please?
So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to transition to the Patriots game because we are about 26 minutes into this thing. But before we do, I'm going to show the best highlight video I've ever shown or ever made again from the Jets. Just because, well, when I showed it the first time, there's only 10 people in here. Now there's like 200. So everybody watch. So I'm going to show you the highlight video. And this is the show opener. This highlight video is legit from the Jets game. So this is the Bills highlights from Sunday. So sit tight for the next 25 seconds. So legit, the best highlight video I've ever put together. So that is like I should be paid a lot of money to put highlight videos together. It's funny because I got to ask you a question, and then we'll wrap up the Jets with this. So much like Sabres games when Danny Briere was here and all those guys, and they won the President's Cup, and like the crowd would be in the stands, and you'd hear the crowd, like, 'cause I was in Ohio at the time, and you'd even hear them like over the TV, 1, 2, 3, 4, we want 5. Like, do you think if the crowd had been like at the stadium that they'd have been chanting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we want 7 field goals, 1, 2, 3, 4,
I think we would have been booing.
We want 8.
I think we would have been booing every single time he came back out on the field on 4th down.
Oh my gosh. So this is where, so we're going to transition now to the Patriots game. We got another new member that I missed while that was going on. Toby, welcome to the Fanatics fam, my brother. Again, if wherever you are, Rico, ring that bell for Toby, as Toby has joined us. Yes, I should
How
be.
Does he say bing, biggity, bing.
Bing, biggity, bing. What's up? I absolutely should be part of the CBS crew. So I agree 100%. And yes, Michelle, those highlights are the bomb. So moving on to the Patriots game. And this is what I want to do first. So I took this is me taking a picture on my phone this morning of Good Morning Football. Look at this. So this is the Buffalo Bills head coaches since 2000, Wade Phillips, who was 1-1, and their records against the Patriots since 2000. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them have actually beaten the Patriots. And I think generally speaking, with those coaches that have beaten, it was either because it wasn't like late in the season or like Brady didn't play. Like there wasn't many where like it actually mattered. The Greg Williams one was big. That was the home opener, right? In 2000 and was that 03 when it was 31-0. Yep. That was the Lawyer Malloy game. Chan Gailey, obviously the Chan Gailey game wasn't that the Drayton Florence game?
To be honest, I don't actually remember the Chan Gailey one.
Right.
The Rex Ryan one, I know Jacoby Brissett was a starting quarterback. It was like the last game of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's just pathetic. But the reality is, and where we want to go with this thing is in order to be the man, and I've said this a lot this season, in order to be the man, you've got to beat the man. And there is no better time than right now. I mean, now is the time if the Buffalo Bills are going to make a statement and the Buffalo Bills are going to lay claim to the AFC East this weekend is the start. I mean, yes, I believe that I predicted that the Bills were going to sweep the AFC East as far as like in every game. So they're going to beat the Dolphins twice, the Jets twice, and the Patriots twice. However, now's the time we got to see it. Like it's got to happen. What are you most concerned about with them coming in?
The running attack. So Cam and the running backs. I know the running backs aren't they're not running backs that you're normally afraid of. And Cam is not throwing well since he came back from COVID. So prior to COVID, he wasn't like lighting up the stat sheet by any means, but he was making some throws here and there that made you say, wait, now if Cam, if he got a receiver, it might be something to, but the running attack, they absolutely have turned into a run first team, and they have no problem doing it by committee. There will be 5 guys that have touched the ball out the backfield, including Cam. And the way our rush defense has looked, with the exception of the second half against the Jets, I don't trust it. And I'm still nervous I don't think that we're going to lose by any means, but I don't think the game should be anywhere near as competitive as it is going to be.
No, I agree. And there's a mindset mentality, and it's funny because one of the questions that I have for John Fina, for those of you that don't know, I put it out there on Twitter a little bit. So starting after this week's game, I'm going to be doing a quarterly season report, and it's basically called Off Tackle with John Fina, who is the former, for those of you younger fans, John Fina was the left tackle during the Super Bowl years while the Bills were going to the Super Bowl. And that's one of the questions that I want to ask him is basically, does it get in players' heads? Like, is it a situation where playing the Patriots for the Bills, like, why is it some teams just always seem to have other teams' numbers? Like, there's certain teams the Bills beat, and then there's other teams that we just have no chance of beating. And it's almost historical, if that makes any sense. And I would love to know why that is from a player standpoint. Like, do they go into this game? I know what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell all the media types, and they're going to get on the radio and their pressers. They'll be like, oh no, we don't think about the past. We don't think about the past ever. And then when they get out there, we've watched it for 20 years. There's an attitude, or there's a seeming attitude of like, they look scared. Like they look like they've already packed it in. Like, you know what I mean? Tom Brady standing over there, Rob Gronkowski standing over there, Belichick's roaming the sidelines. Like, oh my God, Belichick is roaming the sideline. Like, do they get starstruck? I mean, what are your thoughts? Like, I don't know.
I mentioned this last week about Josh. I don't think that they're necessarily scared. I just think the moment is so large that it won't be, what up, Tim? We got to get up. So if you're going to be near here, hit me up.
Fina's going to be out by you. Fina is going to watch the Bills game this weekend at the Wild West Backers Bar. I'm
gonna just tell you. So I'm from the hood. I thought that said Finna. Like I'm finna be. I'm sorry. I'm used to talking to people from the hood, but.
That's so funny. Yeah.
But sorry.
Yeah.
What was I saying? That just threw me off. What was I saying? No, the moment is big. So same thing that I mentioned about Josh with the Chiefs. I just feel like, he's Captain Clutch in the fourth quarter.
Right.
But when it comes to like showing up for games and
right.
you get there and the moment is really large, Josh, and not just Josh, every quarterback and every team that we've had over the past 17 to 20 years, it seems like when the Patriots comes to town, it's tough. It's just, they look at them, and you and I have like a conversation every now and again, and I'm like, well, we can't be grasshoppers, and I know like the biblical story behind it. We can't be in our own eyes as grasshoppers, but that's what the Bills typically do when we have a game against the Patriots. It's like, we talk all week. Oh, we could beat them. We're better. Last year we talked great. Oh, we're better. We finally got the defense. We finally got the offense to do it. But then Josh still played his worst game, not because he's not good, not because he's not capable, but I just think his nerves got to him. And it was one of those things where he just never was able to settle down. So what I'm hoping is, because Tom Brady's not there, because we are first in the division, and because we are, I'm hoping that we go in there and instead of looking at them as the mighty Patriots, we're going in like, okay, this is a team that we should beat. And I said it on my pod yesterday. They're not the bullies anymore. We should be able to go in there and take our lunch money back, or take their lunch money while we're at it. Like this is what we need to show Sunday.
So it was a long time ago. So it was probably back in May, right? It was right when they had signed Cam. So whenever that was, I'd put that podcast out there. And I was like, the Patriots, to your point, what you just said, and I said it too, the Patriots have been the bully. And the only way that you get over that complex, the bully complex, is to march into the playground and punch the bully in the face.
Yep.
And that, I think that's what scares me the most just about this football game, to your point about the running and like them coming after the Bills on the ground. And like, they have multiple ways to run the ball, whether it's with Cam, who's still effective, obviously Burkhead's there, and just all the opportunities that they have, that they're literally just going to come into this game. We're going to run or be damned. Like, we're going to run or we're going to be damned. So like, they're just going to commit to it. And they're going to find 75 different ways to fool the crap out of us, that like, to the point where like the defense can't even prepare for it, if that makes any sense. I mean, I guess the only good news about that is the Bills, in my opinion, in this game can approach it in a situation or in a matter of, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us with Cam Newton's arm, right? So they can literally stack the box, leave leave Poyer and Hyde out there, like, right, and maybe even bring Hyde up, and literally just run some man coverage with Trey on one side, because N'Keal Harry's, I believe he's limited. He was limited in practice today, so they're saying that he might be out. So they don't really have a wide receiver core. I mean, and obviously, what's his name? Edelman is hurt. I don't know if you're aware of that. So Edelman's like been dealing with some nagging injuries so far this season. I just think that I think they're gonna. I don't believe for 1 second, with what we've seen from Cam so far this year. I'm sure you saw the chart where he's like not throwing to his right, which is very confusing to people, including me. I don't think they're going to.
You're a right-handed quarterback and you don't throw to your right.
Like, right. So there's clearly something about his motion going across his body that he's finding more strength, and he's got more confidence pulling through. It's like batting or golf or anything else versus coming this way. But I don't think that they're going to be like, we're going to go into this game and we're going to like have Cam Newton throw it 45 times. They might, but to me, they're going to try to smash the Bills in the face. And if there's not a better game for Feliciano to come back to, in my opinion, because somebody has to set that attitude. Somebody has to set that personality. I loved what Jerry Hughes was doing at the end of the Jets game, because what Jerry Hughes was doing, both vocally, demonstratively, through his play on the field, is he was taking a leadership role that Kyle had and then Zoe had, and has been missing from this defense for the first 6 games. Like, that attitude, that personality has been missing from this defense for the first 6 games. So to me, it was like, there was almost like and the hard part is Jerry's older, but there was almost like a coming out of sorts. It's like, okay, I'm like the guy now. Like, it was almost like he recognized it finally. Like, I'm the guy that's going to have to carry this defense and kind of be that personality and that attitude. But more of that from Jerry Hughes. Like I said, Feliciano lining up and just going Mongo on people. And I think,
well, Feliciano's huge.
Yeah,
I think that's like, I think this is going to be the first game that you should start Devin Singletary or Zach Moss on your fantasy team.
Yep.
This is the first game of the season that you have a shot if we're starting him. I know, because McDermott is like sending smoke screens right now. Like, well, we'll see. I'm not sure. We'll see how it plays out. He's starting. This is the first week that you should start either one of our running backs, because it's going to be a completely different rushing attack. You're going to be able to see what it looks like for Singletary to get the ball, make it to the line of scrimmage, and then make a move. You're going to, oh my God, it's going to be beautiful.
Right. And it's funny because I've got like 75 things I want to talk about, but that's one of the things that I was thinking about today as well. So we've heard at least 2, if not 3 times this season that, oh, this is the game where Moss should get a bunch of, like, this should be the Zach Moss game. We're in that space again. Is this the Zach Moss game? Right. What do you, I mean, is it right?
I think this is going to be Devin's game. I do. I think it might be both, but I think more so, I think they're going to feature Devin because of the type of defense that the Patriots play. You're going to need to get Devin in space. Us running up the middle and us doing the things that Zach Moss is really good at, I don't think we're going to focus on. We're going to do a lot of things to get Devin in space. I can see Diggs having another huge game. I know he didn't have one this past Sunday because he was doubled. I see him having a phenomenal game this week. I know, we got the other stuff over there, but I see him having a huge game.
I do too. I just my concern is that they're just going to try to force the Zach Moss situation, and I don't know that I've seen what I need to see from him yet to want it to be forced. If they get up, great, right? If they're up by a couple touchdowns or 3 possessions, great, go ahead and do it. But for me, I don't know. I would rather see Singletary. What are you laughing about?
Somebody in the comments said we need Aaron Maben.
That's funny.
I needed that laugh. Thank you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Sean, don't underestimate what you just said. I mean, the Patriots, you better believe they have not lost 4 in a row since I think it was either 2000 or 2001. And I promise you that Belichick is going to do everything he can to make sure, to include possibly cheat, to make sure that they do not lose 4 games in a row. Everybody, you were tuned into the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Fanatics Network with your host, Joe Miller, and my co-host, Jay Spence, the King. And this is what's up. We're talking about the Patriots, the Bills versus Patriots. We're kind of previewing what's going to happen this week. If you want to talk to us, we want you to be a part of the show. However, there are several hundred people tuned into us right now across all the platforms that we're on. So if you want to talk to us, you want to get our attention, you have to get on YouTube and super chat us. I'm doing the best I can. Please don't be upset with me. And yes, jump on that like button, whatever platform you're on, hump the like. We love that you are joining us. We love that you're a part of the show. And we just love that you guys engage and talk with us. Let's do this real quick. So there's been a lot of conversation in the chat even already just about the injury report. So this is today's injury report. So Josh Allen with his left shoulder, full participant. And I brought this up on your show on Sunday, and I talked about it, I think, in my show on Monday. Josh Allen, I think, against the Titans and specifically against the Chiefs, both those games, was struggling and having trouble with that left shoulder more than I think that they were letting on. He had not been right, if you will, since he hurt that shoulder. And I think against the Jets, I think he was feeling better. That's clearly conjecture on my part, but that's just as a person that's had a separated shoulder, like actually my right twice, my left once, there's no pain like it. So that's just me thinking that Josh Allen is going to start looking better, or even since the Jets game will be looking better kind of going forward. John Brown, full participant in practice today with that knee. I thought it was a calf, but they're saying knee here. Vernon Butler, groin limited participant. Cody Ford did not participate. I don't know what's going on with Cordy. We know that it's a knee. I don't know if he'll play or not. Fromm is Fromm. So this was the surprise. Micah was on, did not participate. He was at practice. No jersey, no pads, or I'm sorry, no pads, no helmet. And they're saying that he's in concussion protocol. Who knows how long it's going to take him to get out. Hughes, they're saying had a rest day. And then Jefferson limited, Cam Lewis limited, Isaiah McKenzie limited. Good Lord. Matt Milano is back in the red jersey, which is concerning. Norman did not participate. And then Brian Winters, yippee doo-dah day, was limited as well. So, yeah, I got a couple super chats to get to here real quick. So Tim Stook. Tim asks, sorry for being annoying, but Joe, are there supposed to be 50-mile-an-hour gust winds? If so, Bass is screwed too, and we will need to run the darn ball. Yes, I heard that report today as well. So I don't know if you've seen that yet, Spence. I don't understand this part about weather and weathermen. Weathermen and politicians are allowed to lie all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can just lie as much as they want. Today's Wednesday. I heard the report today on the radio that there's supposed to be projected possible 50-mile-an-hour winds. If you think about 50-mile-an-hour winds and storms that carry 50-mile-an-hour winds, it seems like that storm would have to be like in Hawaii right now, right? Because I mean, if that front is traveling 50 or 60 miles an hour to provide those, I don't know, dude. That's what they're saying. It seems strange to me that they would know that already. So we had
I'll wait until Saturday to look at the weather.
We had the game last year against the Eagles with the gusts.
Yeah.
And I think that came out on Thursday or Friday is when they were like, we're gonna have a pretty windy day. And like that was one of the things I was kind of chapped about, was the fact that like they didn't change the game plan when they found out that like Josh was gonna be thrown into 50-mile-an-hour winds. They did that's where I heard it. It was in the presser, Josh's presser today. They did ask him about that today, to which he just said, you know what? I've been throwing into wind since I was in Laramie in Wyoming. So throwing into the wind is an adjustment, but it's really nothing that big of a deal for me, which was interesting. Did you watch?
I love that guy.
I do.
I just love
I
that
do
dude.
too, but I'm gonna say yeah, but did you watch his presser today?
No.
So in his presser today, and we know who Josh Allen is. We know who Josh Allen wants to be. And we know that the team has said we don't want to change Josh Allen. However, in his presser today, they were bringing up the fact that teams have gone to zone against him, which is forcing them, and weird to me, but it's forcing them to go underneath. Beasley's getting a lot of run, to get them to matriculate down the field, if you will, to use an old football term. And he basically said, yeah, we know that. And if we have to do that, I'm willing to do that. And that attitude to me was a little strange. And I'm not calling Josh out. For me, there's a buy-in that I would have liked to have heard from him, which is that's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it. Right. Like, I know that I've got weapons. I know that I've got John Brown. I know that like I can hit the ball deep, but like sell it to your team as well. Not in a passing, well, if we have to do that, then yes, we're committed to doing that. Versus, no, like we're going to take whatever they give us. Like, this is the Patriots. This is the biggest game of the year, and we're going to take whatever. And Belichick is hard to play against as it is. I'm going to hit whatever I have to hit to get the ball down the field.
I don't know. I got to obviously I have to hear it like in the context that it was said and everything. But for me, hearing what you're saying that he said, I actually like it. To me, it's like, no, I want to get this ball down the field. But I mean, if I have to, I'll I'll go underneath. But man, I want to get the ball down there.
He said that was what the I forget which reporter asked him, but he's like, he likes to get the big chunks. And there's an aspect to, like, sometimes that's not the way you win football. You don't win consistent football trying to get big chunks every time you have the ball. Like, there's something to being like intentional and methodic and putting a 9-play drive to get together, which they've done this year. Like, they've done it a lot. I would just like to see him sell out to it. Like, I've got the cannon, I've got the ability to do it, to go over the top whenever I want to, like 80 yards downfield. You know what? So I'm just gonna like morph into this other quarterback, and I'm gonna become this guy. And then whenever I got to pull that other piece out, I'm gonna pull it out, and then I'm gonna
it's just frustrating as a fan base, though, because or for me listening to the fan base, because so check this: before the season started, all we heard, Josh Allen needs to fix a deep ball. We want him to throw the deep ball. We got to get him to fix a deep ball.
We U-turned, right?
And now it's like, oh my God, all he's doing is forcing the ball downfield. Will you please take? No, I want to see the Brett Favre version of Josh Allen, where he's just flinging that thing around the field. I do, and he hasn't had a ton of interceptions this year at all. I'm of the mindset, like, look, if we're taking shots and you're taking it with your number one receiver, you're taking it with your second receiver, who last year was our number one receiver, and sometimes they just don't win, fine, but take those shots, man. Like, that's why we traded for Stephon Diggs. That's why we have, I don't even know what his contract is now, because I know they moved money around for him, but he was making like 14 million, I think. Like, we're paying these guys to do that. Man, fling that thing down the field, man. Let's I'm serious. Like, last year, that was the only way we were successful, because he didn't throw it down the field. Now, man, he fixed it. Let's let this thing air it out, man.
Unless there's 50 mile an hour gusts on Sunday. Spin. I agree with you, Spin. I think players are they know the pressers are exactly that. Just pressure. They're for PR. Players please don't judge players on how well they do in interviews. And I'm not necessarily. And I know that you're responding to some people in the chat, just saying that sometimes he looks distracted. He has, the last several interviews, looked a little distracted, looking down, like he's not paying attention to the camera, and it looks like he's writing notes or something, or I don't know what he's doing, but it's been a little different. So as far as that goes, there was a question that I wanted to ask you, and I can't remember what that question was. Dang it. Do you have anything for me while I try to remember? Because I literally had a question before I threw that comment up there, and then I just drew a total blank.
My question to you is, so now the second half of what we saw against the Jets, right? Do you think that that's who our defense is, or do you think that it was the Jets? And so do you think we'll be able to duplicate that, not just for the second half against the Patriots, but do you think we can bring that energy for the game?
Well, it's clearly a week-to-week game, right? So football is week-to-week, and every team that you play, and I'm going to sound very poster board. Every team that you play presents different challenges. There's an aspect to me that my concern is that they don't overthink the Patriots, right? Because it's the Patriots, and that's what we have always done, is overthink the Patriots, and then they come out and they punch us. They're gonna totally like lead with their right. They're gonna lead with their right, and so we get a right hand up, and then they punch us with their left. It's like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So I think that this defense is in the mode of beginning to find itself. So without preseason, without mini camps, without OTAs, without proper communication, without all of that stuff, clearly no fans in a lot of the stands, allowing the offenses to really kind of, talk to each other and check into things. And, they don't have to go to silent counts, all the stuff we've heard of. I think there's something to be said for this defense starting to find itself. I think that part I said about Jerry Hughes is big. I think there's something about personality and attitude missing from this defense, big time. And it is my hope that Jerry goes out there and blossoms into the leader, right, that he is, meant to be, because who else is there? Like, it's not, Trey's not really that guy. I mean, Trey's a leader. Trey leads with play, but Trey's not really, you don't think of Alonzo, right? I mean, Trey's not breaking down huddles, right, in the hallways and, in the post game. Like, I need Jerry. I would like to see
Trey do that.
I would too. So, we're just missing that personality. If they can find or continue to find themselves, there's no reason that we cannot get back to what we thought, which was that this football team was going to be the number 2 or number 3 defense, top 5 defense in the NFL. They've got all the tools. They've got like everybody that they need to be is on this football team. So, and that was the question that I had asked you about Zoe. Like, is the problem that we're having, and you can elaborate in your conversation with Lorenzo Alexander. Do we have a scheme issue? Do we have like an execution issue? Do we have a culture issue? And what, at what point does this defense play bad enough to where the infighting begins? And whatever the problem is, it becomes a culture issue, because once it becomes a culture issue, it takes years to build good culture. It takes you about 10 minutes to destroy it. What did Lorenzo say about that?
Well, Lorenzo mentioned that it's tough to really, look at game plans or watch a game and feel it's tough to watch a game and say, oh, they're missing assignments, or they're doing this, or they're doing that, because the coaches will teach certain things to the defense that will have them appear to be out of position sometimes. And he said, from being like just coming off the field last year, he said there are plenty of times where the game plan was a certain game plan where it would make the defense not look the best at certain moments, but it was the actual plan. So he obviously didn't want to say that was the case with this year. But the thing is, as a fan, I know it's frustrating when, it's that bend but don't break mentality.
Yeah, and they do it.
Giving up yards, and it looks like we're getting beat and all this stuff. But he brought up a good point. If we're a bend but don't break defense and we're giving up however many yards a game, but we're 5-2 at week 7, like, how much really can we complain about it? But the thing is, I feel like as fans, we've only been able to be spoiled defensively.
Yeah, for sure.
So now that we have an offense to match, it's just difficult to get to the point where it's like, but we're giving up too many yards, or we're getting beat too many times when Levi Wallace is covering, or when Josh Norman is covering, or when Teron Diggs or Teron Johnson is covering. We're getting beat too many times when Milano's not in the game by tight ends. It's frustrating. So whereas, like, I completely, and I said this on the show with him, I completely respect Lorenzo Alexander's point of view, and he was on the field, so I have to. But as a fan, it's like, man, we're so used to having like a top whatever defense, top 5, top 3, top 2. And this year, it's just not that, man. It's tough.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't normally address stuff like this. I should say, don't normally address stuff like this. But Clifford, I just want to address your point. Is it me, or does Diggs drop balls that a true number 1 wide receiver catches? Can we just not do this? Can we not be Buffalo Bills fans, Bills Mafia members that like start to gun after like the true superstar on our football team? This is what Bills fans do. And then we start clamoring for the guy on the bench because like the superstar guy drops the ball. He has already made more or completed more contested catches in just 7 games than any number 1 wide receiver we have had since Eric Moulds. Like, let's just enjoy watching this dude play football and watching this dude build his relationship with Josh Allen. Like, just enjoy it. Don't pine for the guy on the pine, right? I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it. So,
while you're looking, I'm gonna look up his stats, because I really want to know what the expectation is.
What his drop rate is?
No, not his drop rate. What I'm saying is, for this season, we're going into week 8. He has 603 yards receiving,
right, which is crazy,
on 48 receptions and 3 touchdowns. His longest catch was 49 yards, and he's averaging 12.6 yards.
He's on pace to have a career year.
So I guess, like, when we make questions, or we ask questions like that, like a true number 1 wide receiver, how many receivers have better stats to him right now in the league?
There's not many.
So it's like, he is a true number 1. He's probably, like, for the league, he's probably like the 3rd or 4th best statistically right now. So like, to make a statement like that is just not good. It's just not not a good thing to do.
Ishmael's all over it. This is a great comment. True number 1 wide receivers drop more passes than anyone else. Look at the drop leaders, and it's because they get targeted.
I was gonna say, you get the ball thrown at you more
than anybody else. And the reality is all receivers drop balls. And to Lone Wolf's point, that doesn't excuse what we have watched in Buffalo the last couple of years. The Bills in 18 and 19 led the league in drop percentage. So, and that couples in there and like parlays with all of that conversation about Josh Allen's completion percentage and his accuracy and blah, 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 blah. Because last year he was at 58 point, whatever it was, 9%. With a 7% drop percentage, which means automatically 7% of the balls he was throwing were getting dropped. And that's a big number. The mean, you and I did the show on it. The average in the NFL is 3.5. 3 to 3.5 is the average in the NFL for drop passes. That means when it hits you and it's a catchable ball and you drop it. So I would just tell you, like I said, everybody, just to sit back and watch this kid play football, because he is a talent and he is going to be here for some time. And at the end of the day, I want him to come back. Like, I want him to love it here so much that he re-signs.
Yeah, he needs an extension.
Yeah,
like please stay, Stephon. Please stay.
Right, for sure. And at the end, and like him and Gabe Davis, and like, you know, and let's find another wide receiver in the next draft or the draft after that to kind of pair with him, because obviously John Brown's getting a little bit old. He's getting a little long in the tooth, and you know, a gadget player like McKenzie is only going to get you so far. We're talking about wide receivers, so we've got a whole bunch of people in here on the Hump Day Hotline. We're talking about wide receivers right now. Interesting thing has happened, and left turn just a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Antonio Brown is signed with the Buccaneers. I'm willing to say that the Bills no longer have the deepest wide receiver core in the NFL. Now, Godwin, right, is hurt, so he's not going to play necessarily this weekend. But good Lord, like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, and Gronk, like on that offense.
That's insane. That's insane, man.
All we can hope is that it's like, you know, somebody's going to pull the pin on that hand grenade and just toss it in the locker room. That person,
I don't see it though. Like, and I know, you know, and I see a lot of comments, and I've stopped, you know, me, I'm like I try to take up for certain issues and certain, you know, things, but I haven't been commenting on the Antonio Brown situation going down there. But here's the thing. He loves Tom. I just don't see this being one of those situations where it's like, okay, I finally got a chance. I'm going to mess this up. He loves Tom. Yeah, like, and Tom loves him. Yeah, he's gonna. I'm just telling you, it's gonna be fun to watch, because it's not in the AFC East. Yeah, so it's gonna be a whole lot of fun to watch.
I'll let you read that one.
That's what I was laughing at a second ago. Number one receiver to drop more balls than puberty.
Good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Super good. So
Damon says that AB isn't the same player that he used to be. These are the comments that bother me.
Here comes the wash.
These are the comments that bother me, because it's like he hasn't played for a year and some change, so we think that he can't be good anymore because he was out.
He's rested.
He's super rested. He has fresh legs. I guarantee you he's in shape. I guarantee you he's going to come out and have a huge game. I guarantee you.
Yeah,
if you have him in your fantasy team, start him. He's going to have a huge game.
Probably just to make a point. I guess the question for me, and we can move on from this, and I'm sorry that I took us there, is if he goes 3 games and has 3 catches between the 3 games, not even 3-3-3, but like 2, 0, and 1, like, does it turn into like, time up there in or down there in Tampa is my question. So talking about the Patriots, give me just your thought on, and I'd love chat stuff as well. So if you're near something where you can chat, if you're watching this on TV, on the YouTube app or whatever, then it's going to be challenging for you. But if you're able to chat us. What are your keys to the Bills securing a victory against the Patriots? What are your thoughts? Stop the run is me, right? They're gonna come out and try to punch us in the mouth. I think it's gonna be like, yep, this is what we expected.
Well, my key is I feel that initially we need to score. If we can script our first couple drives or first 3 drives and get good plays in there, and we score 7 points on 2 consecutive drives, if we can be up 14-0, I think that will force the Patriots to have to, or not even 14-0, like if they get a field goal or whatever, but we have to get a lead and force them to not run these exotic run. So we need them to have Cam throw it, and as much of a Cam man as as everyone knows that I am, he doesn't look the same this year.
We're gonna talk about it, so don't go there yet. We're gonna talk about it.
Well, all right, so I won't go there, but if we have to force him to throw. So if we can force him to throw, and we can do it to the point where they're down and he has to, like, Cam Newton has to win it with his arm, I think this game is in the bag easily.
I agree. Sheldon Cole says not being fooled by play action. I agree. We have one of the biggest problems. You guys have heard me say it on this show a lot. You've heard me say it on my show a lot. One of the biggest problems we've had so far this year is that the Buffalo Bills defense, particularly Tremaine Edmonds, has been over pursuing big time, which is interesting too, because like Josh Allen gets people on that play action all the time as well. And the Bills are a horrible running football team. It's like, what are you guys afraid of? Like, why not just play back? But they do it, man. They go play. And Josh Allen has gotten great at it. Like, he turns his back completely to the defense and then jumps around. We don't give enough credit. And we don't, as much as it's like, we've got Josh Allen, and Bills Mafia, by and large, loves Josh Allen, and we believe in this kid, and we started to believe in him last year. We don't give credit to him for small things. Like, he is magical. There might not be a better person in the pocket at evading the rush and evading, like, the one thing that he did against the Jets where he was just like stiff arming the guy that was like chasing him down so that he could throw the ball away.
He did it twice in the same play.
Right. Between that, like I said, like literally turning his back, he's doing things that we were told he would never be able to do, turning his back completely. I think there was a game last year where one of the announcers was like, this is always going to be a problem for Josh Allen because when you turn your back on the defense, you lose sight of where your receivers are. And then because he's inaccurate and he doesn't think fast or process fast enough, blah, blah, blah. And the dude is just like every play, like, and it's like multiple different like fakes on play action as well, whether they're in front of him or to his side. There's just a great deal of like amazingness that's coming from this kid that we're not even really thinking about. Like, and I'll say it again, we still haven't seen his ceiling. Like, we still have not seen Josh Allen's ceiling.
So as far as play action, one of the things that really, and I'm sure you were.
Is Bruce still in the house? Because if Bruce is still in the house, I might be interested in bringing him on. Because
well, he won't jump in, but he'll jump in. Josh Allen. So the last quarterback, and there's a ton of quarterbacks who have been good with play action. So when I make the statement, please don't think. But the last one that I can think of that's been like this good, where like he can really hide the ball and he just fools the defense. Do you remember how good Chad Pennington was with?
Yeah.
He literally, I remember plays where he would like, he just looked like he didn't even, like he's walking in the backfield, like after faking it. And the teams really thought the running back had the ball. And then out of nowhere, he's throwing, and he didn't have a strong arm.
Right.
But he was able to get the ball over the top of the defense, like consistently with that play action. And I feel like Josh, this is a strength of his game. Whereas you normally talk about, he has a strong arm, he runs well, he does, no, his play action, like, I think he's second to none in the league with play action.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I agree with you. Daniel says, hit that like button like it owes you money. Hump that like button, jump on it. So this is big. So, keys to victory, contain Cam on the QB scramble. Cam concerns me. Yep. I mean, it's Cam concerns me. And it's funny because I was listening to Chris Brown today on One Bills Live. That's about the only show that I listen to other than Sal. On GR, and he had Trey Wingo on today, and Trey Wingo literally said, with the way that Cam has been playing and the fact that he's gotten pulled the last two games, the last time in the third quarter, the worst thing that could possibly happen for the Bills is if Cam gets pulled in the first quarter and Jared Stidham plays the rest of the game. I was like, did you watch Jared Stidham play football? Because the dude was lost. Like, I don't care how like secure Bill was about starting the season with Stidham and how much confidence he quote unquote had with Stidham before they went and got Cam. Bill is now on record this week saying Cam's the best quarterback we have. So there's no world to me where like if Cam comes out like in the first quarter because he's ineffective or throws 3 interceptions or 2 interceptions, that somehow Stidham's going to come in and beat us. Like, I don't know, bro. I'm just not with it. So.
No, Stidham's not good. Like if Cam doesn't play, like, so if they pull him in the first quarter, or if they pull him in the first half, we won the game. Like, I'm at that point, I'm gonna just start getting ready for the chop up. Like, I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna be like, we won that game.
Yeah. For sure. Tim Stook says, I think a lot of people feel Josh Allen made a bad read to Moss on an RPO for a first down. He did.
It was just one.
It happened once, and it would have been a first down had he given the ball away. And clearly, we all know that because Rich Gannon said it.
Well, but then also, so we're saying that because of one play, but how many times has Josh, and I get it, he fumbles, like he has an issue there, but how many times has Josh kept that ball and then like completely made the defense look, it's just made him look crazy?
What's funny about Josh Allen, I've said this to you before, Josh Allen has not looked the same since 18 when he was run first. When Josh Allen was run first, he was stupid dominant running the football and like running for like tons of yards. Now that he's a pocket quarterback, he's a little, I don't want to say clumsy, but there's a smoothness, there's a glide that he doesn't have that he had in 2018. Like if you watch some of those runs from 18, like when he was turning like Kiko Alonso, like backing around and stuff like that, like now it's just, it's a little more lumbery. It's a little strange, but yeah, it is what it is. So I'm not going to complain. I'll take the kid all day long. Josh Allen stat line prediction. What do you got? What do you think? So I've heard different things in the chat, between 50-mile-an-hour gusts to pouring rain and 14-mile-an-hour winds to whatever. Again, I'm on the fence that like the rain is not a problem for Josh Allen. He threw 400 yards, 420 in Miami in the rain with a wet football. So I don't think the rain is the issue. What do you got for Josh Allen? And same thing with the comments. What do you got, people in the comments? What do you got for a Josh Allen stat prediction?
I'm going to give Josh 240 passing.
Ooh, a low number.
Give him about 65 on the ground, a touchdown in the air and a touchdown on the ground. I don't see him, and I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't see him throwing for more than 300 yards against the Patriots. They still are like they're not the team that we saw last season where they were playing at like a phenomenal, I think at the beginning of last season, it was like an all-time great, pace that they were playing at. It's not that team, but I tell you what, they still have one of the best cornerbacks in the league. They still have one of the best defensive minds in the league. The thing is, we just have to go out there and just literally be the bullies now. It's not even, at some point, it's not about game plans no more, man. We just got to be a bully. They've been a bully to us for years. It's time for us to just go out there and punch them in the face and take our money back.
We've talked about it a lot. I mean, you're talking about a football team that like literally has the talent and the ability to just line up and beat you. Like, we don't have to get cute. This is the first time in 20 years that our literally up and down the roster, our football team is better than their football team. Like, we should just line up and win. Now, for me, is it when it comes to stat lines, and I love just where everybody's head's at. I don't think it's going to be 240. What I know about Bill Belichick is is gonna research Josh Allen last year, and then he's going to research Josh Allen this year, and he's going to find the one or two things that confuse Josh Allen the most, because Josh Allen has come a long way in his recognitions and understanding coverages and all that stuff. But Bill's going to find like that one or two things, right, that just has Josh, and he's going to exploit Josh with it. So he might set him up and rope-a-dope him a little bit, like, so he thinks that what he's seeing is right, and then he's going to switch it on him at the last minute. I think he's going to do better than 240. Josh Allen, 240 Josh Allen to me is bad game Josh Allen. I don't even mean floor Josh Allen. I mean like not regression, but you know what I'm saying, like step back Josh Allen. I think
it's not bad.
I know 240 is not bad, but I just don't think that's the world they live in. We're a pass first offense. Like,
right, but we got Feliciano back. So I'm saying I think this is the game that it's a different rushing attack. So yeah, I'm not saying 240 for Josh. Like,
but Cody Ford isn't playing and Quentin Spain isn't on this football team anymore.
Yeah, but the left side looked better last week than the right side. I'll just say that. Except
for the one play that I forget who retweeted it, where like it just collapsed. Like,
well, I'm sure it was one or multiple.
They knocked down Butker, and like he just knocked down, like the whole line went down like domino with him.
And I'm sure he missed a couple play, like more than one play during the game. But we consistently see Winters miss almost every play. Like he misses on 80% of his plays.
Right.
So I think it's going to be different.
Yeah. So stat line for me for Josh Allen, I'm in probably the 280 range. A couple touchdowns. I don't know that this is going to be a high 3 touchdown game. And what's funny is it seems like every time, I thought about this the other day too, it seems like every time we have an idea of what we think is going to happen, the complete opposite happens, right?
Yeah.
And then see what happens. So while I'm kind of just getting this out here for people so that they can see what their predictions are, 122 against the Chiefs. What's wrong with Cam? Because I said when they signed him that Cam's broken. I was like, I'm not sure he's healed yet. And you were optimistic about it. I don't want to say you're wrong. You were like, no, I think he's good. Like, he's had a lot of time off, successful surgeries, worked on the throwing motion. And I said that I need to see it first, because Cam is dominant when Cam's not broken. When Cam's healthy, Cam is like one of the best football players in the NFL. But I think it's more than that now. There's something else going on, whether it's a confidence issue, something in his head. There's rumors out there now that he's like has COVID fog. Have you heard of that? So like some people that get COVID, for weeks after their recovery, like they get a little foggy in the head upstairs, as far as like not like just everything's not firing on all cylinders. So they asked Bill Belichick about that in his presser. You know, does he have COVID fog? And Bill was like, he's completely healthy. Well, wait, he's completely healthy. Right. So what's wrong with Cam?
I think it's a combination of a few things. I've never heard the term COVID fog, but I do think like right now that plays a factor into it. We've never experienced COVID. So like, we don't know what the effects are physically on the player, regardless if he was asymptomatic or not. He still had the virus. So you just don't know the effects that it has on the body. The other thing is the team. I think the fact, like last year when we saw Tom Brady with this team, he didn't look like Tom Brady that we're used to seeing.
Sure.
And I think that matters too. And then lastly, like you mentioned, the confidence. I do think, although the team, kind of put confidence in him by making him the starter at the beginning of the season and all that stuff, I still just don't think that is there. And then also now to be benched a couple times, I think every time you're pulled, whether or not you're having a bad game or not, when you're pulled, that weighs on you. Like the next time you go in, it's like, okay, I have to play perfect or I'm going to get benched.
And he said that. He said as much as like he has to change his mindset and realize that he's playing for his job.
Right. So when that happens, I tend to think that I get it, I was never professional, but as a kid, when I was playing like basketball and football, when I overly play, like when I pressed too hard, I always messed up. When you're comfortable and you're just free and you're having fun, things like when Cam is out there dancing and having fun like you do, and he's doing all of that and all this stuff,
you're in trouble.
Cam is like, when you see Cam in this, you don't want to see Cam because he's scoring on you.
Yep.
I haven't seen Cam like that this season. A couple times, like we've seen him early on where he was. But Cam isn't the same Cam this year I'm with you. I'm still optimistic on him. I don't think that he's like done for his career by any means, but I think his confidence is shot. And if I'm praying that he had a far better career than EJ Manuel, but I'm hoping that the same thing that happened as far as like confidence when it finally was gone, like EJ was done after that. I'm hoping it's not the same thing for Cam, like, because I'm a Cam fan. So like I'm hoping that he can kind of get his mental back.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Whether it's injury, like I said, there's just peculiar stuff. Like I said, all the throws to the left and only 3 throws in the last 2 games to his right. The interceptions. It's funny because even with his throwing motion, like Clay on your show was talking about, and I noticed it too when Clay said it, I was like, yes, like there's a weirdness to his throw when he throws, like he's arcing his shoulders back before the ball comes out, which to me is really weird.
Very. And there was a couple throws Sunday that just looked like he threw it, and as soon as it came out of his hand, it looked like it just went to the dirt. It was like,
but he also threw a couple brilliant throws. There was a couple long balls. It was like I was like, I hope he doesn't throw those against us.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like Cam, he has it. So but that's why I'm like, when I watch him, I'm optimistic at times, like as a Cam fan. But like when you watch his total game, it's like, Cam, you're not clicking there yet, man.
Yeah.
And I want to see Cam from Carolina. Like it not even necessarily MVP season Cam, but I want to see Cam from Carolina when he's having fun again, and just I want that Cam.
Yeah, confident Cam.
Not this Sunday.
Final score prediction. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Final score prediction.
Final score prediction 33-14.
Wow, high scoring game. You think so, huh?
Yeah, but I think the defense scores a touchdown here. I think we get I'm hoping for a pick 6 for Trey or a fumble return, something like that. But
dude, how insane is it that we have our first interception in week 7
by a rookie,
right? And then the second one by a defensive
lineman. Yeah. Yeah. So again, I don't understand why Jackson is back to the practice squad. If he got you your first, and I know like it's more than just one play, but you get your first interception for the year that you haven't been able to get with. I just don't get.
You gotta hope that like hockey goals that they come in buckets. So now that like the dam has been broken, right? So now that we've gotten 2 in, that all of a sudden that like they're gonna come now. You know what I mean? And that kind of goes to your point, like what defense are we gonna see when you ask me that question? What defense are we gonna see this weekend? Levi did pick off Jared Goff. That's an accurate statement, Alexander. That's really good. Now that you say that, so they were incorrect in the pregame stuff and in the show and during the game when they said that the Bills do not have an interception that year or this year so far. So so they've got 3 on the season, right? Is what they've got. I don't know that I can go this high. Like I love where you guys are at. Like I'm not saying this 15-9 all field goals again. God, like I don't know if I can sit through another one of those. And yes, the answer is yes. Levi did have an interception. It was the one that PFF said was not a turnover worthy play. He threw an interception, but it wasn't turnover worthy.
And Levi has one for sure, but he also, and this is not a rebuttal. Like it doesn't change that he has one, but he also has given up plenty. So so I just feel like Jackson, and I get it. It was the Jets, but Jackson had a phenomenal game as a rookie. His first professional game, he played very well.
I think I'm going to go like 24. So give me like 24-17. I think it's going to be within a possession. What are the Bills? Do you know what the stat line is as far as or what the line is on the game? The gambling line is on the game. Is it? Are we 3-point or I thought it was we were -3. I thought we were just 3-point. Just the normal home even pick 'em game. Is anybody out there? Anybody out there?
3.5.
Is it 3.5? Yeah, 3.5 is
Bills are favorite.
Yeah. Are they? So it's the Patriots are getting 3.5. I think that's I think -3. That's called a pick'em game, if I'm not mistaken. That means that they, it's just even. So they're not sure who's gonna Vegas or Vegas isn't sure who's gonna win either. They're like, the Bills are playing the Patriots. The over-under is 43. Man, I don't know, dude. I'm not sure. I'm not as much as Cam threw 300 yards and put up whatever that score was against the Seahawks. I just can't see. If it goes over 43, it's because the Bills had 35, in my opinion. I just can't see Cam putting up 30-something points or 25 points. Can you?
I can see 14 points, and I can see the Bills having 33, like I predicted.
Yeah.
That's it. I can't see Cam doing. No, I can't.
All right, let's do this. So we've got about 14 minutes left. You guys are tuned into the Hump Day Hotline, and we appreciate you guys being a part of the show. I am your host, Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. That is my co-host, Jay Spence the King. You can find him on Twitter at Jay Spence the King. He is the host of the Code of Conduct podcast that airs on Buffalo Rumblings podcast network every Tuesday now, right? You're on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
My show is the Overreaction Bills podcast that airs on the Buffalo Fanatics podcast network on Mondays, and I have a preview show that drops on Sundays before every game. Let's open it up to questions. So I know you guys have gotten questions in earlier that were kind of off topic, so I didn't jump to the comment because you were asking me Patriots questions when we were talking about the Jets, and then you're asking me Jets questions when we were talking about the Patriots. So if you've got questions for myself or Jay Spence and Richard Rush, I just want you to know we love you too, brother. What are you laughing about? What'd you see?
No, I'm just going through the comments. They're just funny today.
Yeah, the Patriots are a mess, and I'd love for the Bills to put the nail in the coffin. But if you've got questions for myself or Jay Spence is a great person to ask questions to because he's always got all the great interviews. Please ask us. Let's get this. Here you go. This one's for you, Jay Spence. You can think about that for a second. And if you want to get our attention, please super chat us. That will get our attention. That will absolutely get your question or comment read. I think it's 3. Wasn't that what the commercial was? A 1,
3,
a 2, 3. It takes 3. So,
3.
You asked me this question. Where to go? It's jumping around. You guys are in it now. So, is it Bashir? Bashar Peterson asks, "Does our defense bounce back?" You asked me that question. I'm going to ask you that question.
I'm hoping.
That's what you got for me. Is your hope?
Yeah, because what you said is so accurate and it's so true. I think that Jerry Hughes stepped up in a way in the second half that lit a fire under the rest of the defense. His play and his energy made the rest of the team stand up and say, "Okay, let's do this." I'm hoping that they come out with the same energy.
Yeah,
really. You can't look at it no other way, man.
Matthew asked, trade deadline. Who we got? Are we going to make a move or are we not?
No, I don't think we're making a move. I think coming into the season, we felt like we had a roster that could take us to the promised land. I think the team still kind of feels that way.
Clifford asks, do we unload Trent? Can you put a $9 million player on the bench?
I'm just saying, he's been a healthy scratch. We bench it. Let's just get rid of him and use that money elsewhere.
Yeah. Alexander asks, should we be worried about McDermott and the Bills' record versus good teams? I think I saw 1-7 versus playoff teams. I think it's 3 and something, but yeah, it might be 1. It might be 3 and 7, but I'm not sure. Do we need to worry?
No, because you got to put those wins and losses in context. And I think you and I had this conversation previously where it's like when you look at it, the first 2 seasons, you really didn't expect Sean McDermott to win against those teams anyway. Right. We had Tyrod Taylor in the first year. We went 9-7 and snuck into the playoffs.
Yep.
The second year, we had Josh Allen as a rookie, and I think we were 6-10 that year. So the bulk of those losses, and granted, last year we didn't blow playoff teams out either, but we beat the Titans in Tennessee last year. We beat Pittsburgh, did Pittsburgh not? We beat Pittsburgh. But I was thinking, did they make the playoffs? I don't
remember if they made the playoffs or not either. I know they were a good team. They were a team with a winning record.
Yeah. So, because I remember it was it could have been the wild card battle at a moment, but when we beat them, we clinched. But we've beat good teams since the team has gotten better, and I think you got to put in context that 1-7 record.
Yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi asks, if we demolish the Patriots then beat the Hawks next week, do you think we go on a roll for the rest of the year? I'm going to tell you something. Our schedule looks way harder than it did before the season started. I'm a little nervous as far as about our schedule. So it looks super, super duper hard. So another super chat. John, thanks for being a part of the conversation. If asked before, sorry, don't worry, we'll answer it again. Deal more on the trade block. Should the Bills go for a rental? Could lose trade Josh Norman, Trent, to make a rental work money-wise. So this was asked in the comments, but I did not respond to it. So, John, you've got a good question. What are your thoughts there, Jay Spence?
I would absolutely make that trade 50 billion times out of 50 billion.
There's no way we can afford it.
No, we can't afford it. But I
don't know how it helps. I mean, if you've got a lockdown corner on the right and you've got a lockdown corner on the left and you can't stop the run, I don't know where that puts you.
Well, if you have a lockdown on the left and you have a lockdown on the right, that frees up your safeties as well for a little bit different of a scheme.
Potentially.
Not potentially. It frees it up. You can literally put 8 people in the box. Yeah. Like you can literally do that every play, stop the run. You got the 3 guys covering your 3 receivers. If a tight end or a running back runs out, Milano can go and cover. We absolutely can. Like if we had 2 shutdown cornerbacks, we would destroy every team we played defensively.
For sure. I love this. Vian says, I love those kicks in your picture. We have a problem, and I don't think anybody sees it. Our defense is not the same anymore. We need some type of change. Trust when I say this. Bro, we see it, and we talk a lot about it. We talk a lot about it. And our hope is that, we saw a decent quarter that the Bills played this defense against the Raiders. And then we saw, obviously a pick your poison game against the Chiefs. And then obviously they played a great second half against the Jets. And there's just a great hope, expectation that the Bills team is kind of putting it together as far as this defense is putting it together. We're going to see this weekend. I would say this is probably true. Gilmore ain't coming back to Buffalo. So there's no way. We ran that joker out of town. What'd you say?
I said it's the fans' fault.
Gotcha. Pitt did not make the playoffs last year, as per Lone Wolf. What else you guys got for it? Does Belichick break another table or tablet this game? I hope he breaks all the tablets. Can we get him to break all the tablets? I don't know why Run, you've said this about 7 times, I think. Kyle Williams ain't coming back to this football team.
Kyle Williams ain't coming back, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't say this for sure at this point anymore, but I don't think Zoe's coming back.
How did that change?
I don't think we'll see Zoe in the Buffalo Bills.
What did he say?
Well, I'm saying I can't say for sure. What I'm saying is I just don't think we're going to see Zoe in a Buffalo Bills uniform anymore unless you go and look at the pictures from the last few seasons. I don't think we're going to see him.
Well, AJ Epineza, as they said in the Chiefs game, is wearing his jersey. So, yeah, it might be a little – it'd be weird to see he'd have to go to Epinesa and say, hey, I want my number back, because it'd be weird to see Zoe in a different uniform. I
think Epinesa would give it back.
This is a great question from Chris. What do you prefer to trade for, tight end, pass rusher, or run stopper? I have a thought here. Go for it. What would you prefer?
We need a defensive tackle, so a run stopper.
We need a havoc wreaker. Like, we need, whether it's a linebacker, Brian Urlacher, Khalil Mack type, or somebody on that offense or the defensive line, to your point, defensive lineman, like an end, or somebody, a DT that's just a havoc wreaker. Because if you get a havoc wreaker in that defense someplace, like, it's just going to make guys like Tre'Davious White that much better. Like, there's just no personality on this defense. It's frustrating to me.
And the thing is, when you because I know I've seen a few people actually yell at me last week because somebody asked me the question if we were too soon on giving Trey that extension because he's not playing as well. You got to understand, when the defense isn't as good overall, it's going to put Trey and the other stars that we're used to seeing perform at a super high level. It's going to put them in positions that is not favorable for them. So Trey is going to give up a pass here or there that we're not used to seeing him give up. He's going to give up a touchdown that we're not used to seeing him give up, because the entire defense just put him in a different position. So I agree. We need somebody that's going to come in and just disrupt. We need that. We absolutely need that.
I love this. And I don't know if Patriots I'm guessing you're a Patriots fan. So welcome to the show. Appreciate you joining us. He says it's a must win for the Patriots, not for the Bills. You're wrong. The Bills are in a position where, they could win the East potentially at, 7-9, 9-7. This schedule post the Patriots doesn't get easier. Like there's an aspect of like, as much as yes, the Patriots need this win, and if they don't, they're pretty much dead. Like they're not going to they're not going to do any better than the Bills are as far as like against the NFC West and the AFC West. The Bills, however, if they drop this football game, it does not get easier. Like from here, like it's the Seattle and the Niners and the Chargers.
Well,
and
we got to wait till next week to
go ahead.
When I was gonna say, I know we got to wait till next week to talk about Seattle, but at the same time, outside of Russell Wilson and their offense, their defense doesn't scare me. They give up here's the I feel like if our defense has found ourselves at all, I know we're not gonna shut down Russell Wilson, but if we can keep Russell Wilson to a certain point, and if Josh can do what he does against that defense, I think we can win that game.
Yeah, if Josh does Josh things.
Yeah, I'm not scared of that game.
We probably should next week maybe do a pick 'em. So depending on if the Bills if the Bills beat the Patriots and we go to 6-2, so we're through the half point of the season, which sucks to even think about that the season's half over already. Maybe we should do a repick, right? So we'll go through the remaining games of the schedule based off of what we see the Bills look like against the Patriots. It's
just funny. In the summer, I think you predicted 14-2 or 13-3, and now you're like, I don't know. Second half is so. Yeah, we have to redo that.
But the reason is because of the defense. It's not because of if the defense was playing top 5 football and Josh Allen was still, if the defense was playing top 5 football right now, I don't want to say we're undefeated, but we're probably 6-1.
We're undefeated.
Possibly,
we're undefeated.
Right?
If the defense is playing top 5, we're undefeated.
I would probably risk 6-1. Undefeated as possible. Like if the defense is playing top 5, it's a totally different conversation, in my opinion. So I would say it's a must win for both teams. So now people are giving record predictions: 11-5, 10-6. I think 10-6 is highly probable. 11-5 would be nice. It would really kind of put the Bills, I would say, quote unquote, on the map.
I'm sticking with the 11-5.
11-5. Maurice Anderson says, if we get up early and are clicking on all phases, do you think McDermott plays safe or tries to take their soul?
I think he plays it safe.
He's a defensive head coach. I think if they get up by 10 points, he takes the foot off the gas. And as much as they talk about it in their pressers that we never take our foot off the gas, it's like you clearly took your foot off the gas. Like you were not, you went into not even bend but don't break. Well, you went into prevent defense. And the good news is Cam isn't Tom Brady, right? So there's just so it's just I don't know why offensive head coaches have that killer instinct and defensive head coaches. Well, that's not true. Bill does. Bill's a defensive head coach, and he has that, like, I'm gonna punish you and then embarrass you, and he's done it to us.
Doesn't call offense.
No, I'm just saying, but he lets it happen. Like there's no point where Bill's telling not Sean Payton, what's his name? Yeah, Josh McDaniels. There's no point where he's in the headphone going, "Hey, Josh, could you take it easy?" And we just want to run the clock out, and we're just gonna bleed this thing.
But here's the thing: I don't mind running the clock out if we had an offensive line that can block for our running backs and actually get first downs and chew up the clock. The problem is we try to. So the reason why it sucks for us right now is because when we do try to go conservative and run the clock out, we don't get first down. So we end up giving the ball back to the other team, giving them the chance to get back in the game. So if you don't have a running attack, then yes, keep giving the ball to Josh and let's blow this thing up. But if we can start running the ball, I have no problem going conservative if we have a 2-touchdown or 2-score lead. I have no problem with that. The problem is we can't keep the ball when we're on offense trying to run. That's the problem.
Real quick, Taj asks, Poe from Dallas, what are your thoughts on Dontari Poe?
I like him. I like him a lot. I just didn't they release him because they couldn't find a trade partner?
He is released, as is the corner that they released today. Yes, they're both out there. They're in the wind. They're both in.
If he's willing to come here and if the Bills are interested in him, I would love to see that. I think he's not star, but I think he would do a lot of the same things that Star did. So we would absolutely appreciate him. And I just want to say, I've been saying all summer, we were going to miss Star, and everybody was yelling, no, we're not. Star doesn't do anything, but I think we see that we miss Star. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so.
You love saying I told you so.
I do. I love saying I told you so.
Do you think our offense is too predictable with the RPOs and jet sweeps and play actions out of the shotgun? I don't. No. I think the problem is Josh is having a little bit, like, he's grown so much through the last 3 years and even into this year. I think he's just, once he gets the man thing figured out, I think that he's going to become unstoppable again. And then it turns into, I don't want to say Tom Brady time in the sense, but like when you've got a quarterback that can beat man and zone at will, like, you're living in dangerous territory.
Tom Brady is. I'm sorry, next time. I think Josh is that next time Brady for this division, and I think that we're seeing it. I think we're seeing it, and I think that we still have to be a little patient. It's year 3. He learned so much. I look at this as his second year though, because that first year, to me, so when most guys come out of college, that at least the elite guys, like the top quarterbacks that come out the draft, they typically play in big programs with big talent around them. They're playing against great defenses. Josh didn't have the luxury of having like any type of NFL type offense, any type of he just didn't. So I think his first experience with a real team, granted, we didn't have a good team, but his first experience was his rookie year. So to me, that was like his senior or junior year of college in my mind. Like he was first being introduced to what an offense should look like, or what, the different concepts. And then last year we saw him take a big step forward, and we saw him, to me, he was a rookie. This year, he's doing that thing that a lot of the good quarterbacks end up doing. So I know it's his third year. I think we should give him one more year before we expect perfection out of him. Like give him a break.
It's amazing. We've talked about it, and I've tweeted about it, that if there's somebody that the national media should be pining over and should just be like in love with, like the story, it's him. Like legit, like the road he has had to travel to get to here. And it's unfortunate the way that he came into the league, where he got drafted by the Bills, number 7, and that whole inaccuracy thing that has just hung on him and still continues to hang on him. And it's like, the dude's at 68% completions, which is like, as much as you made fun of me early in the season for being a Kirk Cousins fan, or early in the offseason, like I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan, but he's throwing in Kirk Cousins land. Like the dude is just, it's just tragic to me. He is the story of the NFL, like the NFL that someday when the 30 for 30 comes out, it's going to be great to watch, because like,
absolutely,
just even to the point of like the Derek Carr situation, where he's standing next to Derek Carr and he wasn't even with the good kids. Like he was off like on the other big field, like with the kids that couldn't play that they deemed couldn't play football. And here he is, in the NFL. Like he is a story that the NFL should be chasing versus continuing to just, there's almost a memorandum that needs to go out to even the announcers and the broadcasters, which I can pine on, or I can go off on that. Like, hey, why don't you lay off the kid? This is one thing that I'm sick and tired of as well. And it happened again. I'm sick and tired of it taking 3 quarters before the announcers finally like, oh, the Bills are going to win this game. We should probably start saying nice stuff about them. Like, it just seems like every announcing crew just like hammers the Bills and only talks about the other team until it's like, oh, the Bills are going to win this football game. Well, then I guess we should say a couple nice things about the Bills. It's just, I'm just over it, dude. Like there's an aspect of it's like, I might just watch the game like on mute from now on, just turn it off. I don't know. So
I'm cool with, like, I could care less what they say about us. Like it's one of those things where
it's they don't say anything about us. Like they just go on.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like I could care. So I feel like we need to earn that.
Yeah.
That's like I get it. We're good now, and as Bills fans, we know that we're good, and we watch them all summer, and we watch them, so we're passionate. So we know it, and we want everybody else to know it. I feel like we still need to earn it.
How do you earn it when guys like Jerry Sullivan are out there going, I've been saying it forever, that Sam Darnold's a better quarterback or thrower of the football than Josh Allen? It's like,
you earn it by proving it. You just earn it by proving it.
All game are you watching, bro? Because like, yeah, like, dude, there was the one sack on Darnold where the entire defense like sacked him. Like, why was he holding the ball? Like, I rewound it like 4 times.
Did he have somewhere to throw it? I don't know which play you're talking about, but
he was just looking downfield, holding the ball, and the whole entire defense just collapsed on him. It's like,
the second half was bad for him.
It was like 2 or 3 steps. It wasn't like, and all of a sudden, like, holy crap, that came out of nowhere. It was like you saw it coming, and then the wave hit him and just took him down. It's like, throw the ball away, bro. Like, do something. Holy crap. So, all right, we're over time. So you all have been watching the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Fanatics Network in a co-op, if you will, with the Buffalo Rumblings Network. I am your host, Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. I'm the host of the Overreaction Bills pod that drops on Mondays and on Sundays for a preview show. My co-host over there is at Jay Spence the King. Tell us about yourself, Jay Spence. Tell us about your show.
The Code of Conduct will air from now on Tuesdays on all the same platforms, except I'm going through Buffalo Rumblings now. And then Sundays, post-game around 7:15 p.m., Mookie Hawkins and I go live to discuss, the player interviews, and we discuss pretty much just a reaction to the game. Yeah, Mook, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then I think I'm going to end up doing like a live version of the code of conduct too. So we'll do some, we have some stuff coming up, a lot of fun things.
Are you not willing to? I know who you got coming up. You're not willing to talk about it here? Not yet?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it yet. I'm not going to talk about it yet. I'm gonna try to actually what I'm going to try to do for what the people I'm going to actually try to do like a roundtable for it, like one episode.
That'd be sweet. Can I be in on that?
Yeah, you can. You were supposed to be in on the Lorenzo.
I know. Family stuff got jumped up on me. As I said, my name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. My show is the Overreaction Bills podcast, and it's a lot of fun. And I just try to bring you guys what I feel from the couch, because I tend to feel that it's exactly how you're feeling from the couch. I'm also going to be doing a show starting next week, once a quarter. So after every 4 games in the Bills season, I'll be hosting John Fina, former Buffalo Bills left tackle during the Super Bowl years, for a show called Off Tackle with John Fina, and it's basically just a quarterly report. So we get a lot of great content coming from you. Spence and I are besties, and the reality is like we just love doing this thing together. So tune into all his stuff, consume his stuff, tune into all my stuff, consume my stuff. Just be awesome. We love the Bills. Go vote, make your voice heard, right? Unless just get out and vote. Any last words?
No, go Bills. Next time we see you guys, it will be the day after Election Day. So like Joe said, please vote, regardless of who you vote for, regardless of what you believe in. Just go and let your voice be heard and vote. It's an important election, regardless of which side you're on. So
and stop.
Let's love our country and love each other.
Turn off the noise and stop listening to the hate and stop listening to the hype. Regardless of who you vote for, there's a lot of BS and noise and garbage on both sides. So vote your conscience, vote, just vote for your future is what it comes down to, right? So love you guys. Go Bills.
Go Bills.